Boy, a war of words tonight between Democrats and Republicans on the 15th day of the Senate GOP walkout. Minority Leader Tim Katu now accusing Senate President Rob Wagner of threatening a government shutdown. Good evening. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Deborah Knapp. Katu claims Republicans have faced intimidation from Wagner and, quote, special interest groups that have installed him as president. Katu's Christina Giardinelli has covered this walkout since day one and is live for us at the Capitol.
And Christina, this is all because Democrats say they won't let Republicans just show up to pass a budget, right?
Yeah, that's right. Senate Republicans are claiming they will show up on June 25th just to pass the budget and bipartisan bills. Senate President Rob Wagner says he won't let Senate Republicans boycott the session and then show up just on that final day. That means Governor Kotek may need to call a special session to get the budget passed. Senate leaders of both parties were not available for an interview today, but both sent written statements. Senate Minority Leader Tim Katu's statement reads in part, Democrat leadership, including President Wagner, are threatening to shut down the government if they don't get their way. That's no way to govern. We guarantee that we'll be back before constitutional sign a diet to address the issues most important to Oregonians: homelessness, affordable housing, public safety, cost of living, job creation, and fully funded education. Senate Majority Leader Kate Lieber's statement reads in part, Senate Democrats will be here doing our jobs, ready to pass the budget and act on urgent Oregon priorities today, tomorrow, and every day until session ends. We are upholding our constitutional duty to show up for work and vote on the floor. Now, the governor has been taking a more hands-on approach to the walkout. Yesterday, she visited with Democrats and Republicans. Today, she visited both parties in the House. I'll have more on that meeting coming up at 6 p.m.
Republicans hold this session hostage is disturbing to me.
The Democrat leadership has to be willing to come to the table and take the little steps to move this forward in a scenario that we're willing to work with.
With the end of legislative session just a few weeks away, Oregon House representatives are still busy at work while the Senate Republican walkout reaches day 15. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. For K2 News at 6, I'm Deborah Knapp.
And I'm Steve Dunn. Democrats and Republicans in the House have conflicting versions of how this Senate walkout will play out and whether the bills they're working on now stand a chance at passing. K2's Christina Giardinelli has been to the Capitol since day one of the walkout. She's there live now. And Christina, the governor has been visiting both the House and the Senate.
Yeah, that's right. She has. She seems to be taking a more hands-on approach to the walkout as of recently. Yesterday, she was here on the Senate side visiting with both Democrats and Republicans. Today, she was over on the House side, also visiting with both parties. Now, both parties say she is listening to them and asking about their goals this legislative session. I spoke to Minority House Leader Vicki Breeze Iverson, who says she believes her work in the House right now is not in vain. Democratic Representative Ricky Reese, on the other hand, says he wishes that were the case.
The Senate Republicans have said that they'll come back on June 25th and take care of the budget business and large bipartisan bills that we can get across the floor for them to consider. And the House is here to do the business, and that's exactly what we're doing.
We cannot move any budgets. We cannot move any House bills because there's no quorum in the Senate. So quite frankly, it is has been really frustrated having to navigate that system, having to navigate that situation that's going on in the Senate. Our Senate Republicans have the obligation to show up and vote.
In the meantime, on the Senate side, leaders of both parties are digging in their heels. Senate Republicans say they'll show up on the last day of the session to pass the budget and bipartisan bills only. Senate President Rob Wagner has vowed not to allow that. And Senate Minority Leader Tim Katu today in a written statement calling that vow a threat to shut down the government. Now, if a budget doesn't pass by the end of the session, Oregon Governor Kotek has vowed to call in a special session to get that budget passed. We'll be following that along closely and bringing you the latest. For now, live in Salem, Christina Giardinelli, K2 News.
Christina, thank you.